and we're live. It's Thursday night, nearly
Is
the weekend. I had to think there. I'm live. Do you know, stupid here last night, when I set up the live yesterday, I didn't realise I'd actually set it for last night, and it was actually Eric that told me, Lois, you do realise you're going live tonight? And I'm like, what? And then I went, oh, fuck my life. So we've got 4 in the chat. Can everybody in there at all say hello? And I will share out. While I'm sharing out, guys, I really want to send my North Carolina buddy, Nicky Canooey, I get well soon because he's came down with COVID, God love him. So I just want to start by obviously sending my wish wells to him. Get well soon, Nicky Canooey. And here's we're joined by Rosie. Hello, love. No, you're absolutely fine. So that's alright. There's 6 in the chat. Nobody saying hi. I take it you can't hear us. MD, say hello. Even if you want to stick up a row of middle fingers.
That one?
No.
Aye,
that one. Oh, Wayne, did you see the news reporter that got caught midway doing that on a break? They were on a break and they were coming to him and she done that to the...
I don't watch the news. It's boring.
I don't watch the news, but I find it funny when they fuck up.
Sometimes it's depressing too.
Hey, Roger, thank you. So, Roger from Kentucky says hello. So, tonight, guys, I picked this subject because I watched the film and you've got to say, never believe what you watch in films with to a certain extent. But I was watching, what I like to do on Amazon Prime is I like to watch found footage films. And I watched, well, I kept clicking on and off this one, debating whether I was going to watch it, whether I wasn't, what I wasn't. I'm quite glad, I'm really glad that I did watch it now. And it was a found footage film called Horror on the High Desert. Now, basically, what this film is about, it is like the events in the film are fake, but it's based on a story that happened in real life. So I watched it and I thought, I'll see, because sometimes I like to research films and see whether they're true, whether they're no, you know, and where they get their ideas from. And I'm quite glad that I did read this one now, watch this one now. So basically, in the film, it's talking about this YouTuber going missing in the Nevada desert, blah, blah, blah. The sister gets the whole private investigator. The sister doesn't know that obviously the brother's a YouTuber and sees all these comments. So this YouTuber's in the film is claimed that they found something and people are egging them on basically to go back to prove that it's real. So when I looked up this film, I discovered it's entailing the subject we're doing tonight, Kenny Veach, and it's based on Kenny Veach. No, the things that have happened in the film is not based on Kenny Veach. Like, obviously, you know how films change everything, right?
Yeah.
But Kenny Veach was a YouTuber who went missing in 2014. And Kenny Veach, I can't even get my word. It was a very that. So he went missing in the mode.
Oh no.
Oh,
Now you see her. Now you don't.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
you see her.
Hey.
Oh, hello. Um,
I'm just gonna grab
So-
my glasses. I'm listening.
no problem, love. So, he was a YouTuber who went missing. Now, his YouTube name was Snakebite McGee. Now, there was how people discovered him on YouTube. There was a YouTube video that's now been taken down, right? And he'd made quite a name for himself on this YouTube video, which was known as the son of an Area 51 technician. And whilst obviously you know what people are like, so they go on and talk about obviously Area 51 and that. So Kenny Veach had made a claim on this video about of a M-shaped cave that he came across while he was hiking. Hi Eric. And he had said that this cave was near Nelis Air Force. So he was challenged, right, about because Kenny Veach described this M-shaped cave as being really something that made his whole body. You think I've been on the fucking swallow tonight? Can't get my words out.
You've been sipping on something.
I swear to God, untwist my tongue.
She's drinking my brew, Rosie, so.
Drinking
You
what?
never know when it's
I
in there.
I brew. I think it's a cock syrup.
Aye. So
Okay.
Kenny Veach had described this cave as making his body vibrate, and it was the most horriblest feeling he's ever felt. So you know what the internet can be like when you go in and make claims like you found his whole day. Right, Mr. Thompson. So you know what like the internet can be like if you go on and make claims. They'll egg you on. They'll prove it. Prove that you've seen this cave. So what did Kenny Veach do? Kenny Veach said, well, yeah, I'll go back. I'll go back and try and find this cave. The excuse at the time that Kenny Veach had was that the fact that he didn't have any of his weapons, because if he would go on now, apparently he's an experienced hiker, because Kenny Veach would go with a bottle of water and a chocolate bar or juice or whatever on these trips. But it's weird. It is. It's dead weird. So he would normally go with having a gun, which is fair dues, to keep yourself safe for animals and whatsoever. But I don't know, this case is just really stuck in my mind. I found it extremely, really weird. Everything about it, when you look at his life. Well, I'll let Wayne tell you because he did all the research, right? So I'll just let Wayne tell you.
Wayne's baby.
I mean, basically, Kenny Veach was a normal, typical man. He had a daughter and a girlfriend, and at some point he had a job, and he was working as I think it was a coffee vendor. He was working for a coffee shop, and he then eventually just quit his job. He decided he wanted to live a little bit more freely and do what he wanted to do. But the problem was, obviously, without a regular income, things became a bit of a strain for him. And so he was inventing weird gadgets and contraptions and trying to sell them. Didn't really work all that well. So, of course, because things were looking down for him, he was looking at foreclosure being issued on his house. So he was really strapped for money. And eventually he got into doing this extreme hiking. And this extreme hiking wasn't just going out into the desert for a day. It would be going to the desert for 3 or 4 days on a trot. He wouldn't follow trails. He would always go off the trails and do his own thing. And eventually it would lead to the M-shaped cave. And up until that point, he never went with any arms. You know, he didn't go with any guns or anything because he felt he didn't need to. And he was at one with nature, so he'd be fine. So he also was starting to suffer from depression. He'd been looking on the internet on different ways of hurting himself, and he had openly admitted that his father had taken his own life. So a lot of people were worried that it was possible that he may do the same thing because of his searches on the internet. So it was quite a strange occurrence for him to go off, and you know, it wasn't unusual for him to go off, but then it was very strange that he went back again, and that leads to the mystery behind where he went to or where he disappeared to.
Right, I'm going to play a wee bit of the video, right? I can't do all this tech shit, right? So I'm going to try and see if I can play a wee bit of his video. Can you guys hear that?
Well, here I am on my hike up here in the mountains north of Las Vegas. This is a canyon I just walked up in. And you can't tell, but my truck is way out there by the mountains at the very, very end of this valley. It's kind of like a big canyon. On the other side of these mountains, I'll show you in a second, is the bombing range, the Nellis Air Force bombing range. They do a lot of practice stuff out there. This is an old mine, and there's a hole here that just goes way down. I'll show you that. And then the last time I came up here, I hiked up to the top of what they call Gas Peak, and I spent the night. It was a 2-day hike, and then I hiked all the way down to another valley over here and went past this mountain range you see on my right, all the way back out to the flat desert. Now, the camera doesn't pick this up very well, but it's a long way. And I just romp around out here, do some solo hikes, and have some fun. My mission today is to just do a 1-day hike. It's about a 10-hour hike. I got to still go over another ridge and then go all the way down a big crevice that's real narrow. It gets kind of scary. And I'm looking for a cave that I found, and I didn't have a sidearm when I was here before. And something about that cave just spooked me. Out of all the caves I've ever gone in, this one just made my body vibrate. The closer I got to it, the crazier my body felt. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to go in there right now, but I'm coming back someday. And I talked to some people on YouTube, and I told them, hey, I'm coming out here, you know, because they kind of called my hand on it. So I don't know if there's going to be anything to it, but it might be interesting. If I can find it, I'm going to relocate it. This is a big mountain range I'm in, and I'm on, you know, my truck out there. There's no roads. There's no trails. It's a pretty rough terrain. So hopefully I'll find it. It's shaped like a big M. It's a big cave. It looks just like a gigantic M, and it's about as tall as I am and kind of narrow, and it's stuck on the side of a mountain. So I hope I can find it again. If I do, I'm going in there. I'm going to put on my light, take my gun out, walk in there, see if I find anything. We'll see. I'm going to take the camera, show you how deep this hole is, and kind of show you around real quick. So here we go.
I don't know if you guys can hear that. Can you hear that all right?
The area is that I'm in. It's kind of a weird thing. It's been out here forever. I mean, there's no roads. There's no trails. This thing, who knows how long it's been out here, and I have no idea what they were digging up, but it looks like some of the rocks are kind of rusty, so
and
it might have been
that's
some
where
kind
they
of
said that they found these stones. It's actually down that
but I'll just show you down
shaft.
inside that hole. It goes way, way, way down there. Let me see if I can. That's pretty far. That goes way down in there. Yeah, if you fell, that'd be it. You'd be a goner. It's a long way. So anyway, on the other side of those mountains, they're not that far away, but they're pretty good distance out there. On the other side of those is where I'm going to be popping out after I go over this. See, there's this little canyon. I got to go down. I got to go over this mountain, and then I drop way down this mountain into a canyon, and I head off in that direction. I just go that direction, and that's west, heading towards. That's Mount Charleston, that big mountain out there. That's the Mount Charleston range. And then, excuse me, I got flies all over the place. And then, so I'll be heading down behind this mountain over here in a little canyon that gets kind of scary because there's all kinds of cliffs and stuff. And then, hopefully I'll find that cave that's like back over there somewhere, but down on the other side of that mountain. And then I got to walk all the way along this whole gigantic range on the outside of that mountain. Because I came down this valley, you'll see this valley, but I'll be out there where the desert's flat. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see. I'll be way, way, way out there where the desert's flat. And then I got to walk all the way down, all the way back to way out there. And then I got to come back up and find my truck. So it's going to be a long time. The sun might be down by the time I started at 7 o'clock, but I'm thinking the sun might be down by the time I get back to my truck. But the great thing about it is I have a big cooler full of beer waiting for me. It's going to taste so great because I didn't bring a whole lot of water, and I only got like one candy bar to get me through. But I like roughing it that way. So I slept up in these mountains, and it's pretty high. I think that's about, it's like 9,000 feet up there. And it's the camera just doesn't do it justice, but I slept on one of those peaks. I think that's the peak I slept on, and then I came down in the morning, and it took me quite a while to get out of this mountain range, and I walked almost all.
So there, guys, that's Kenny Veach talking actually about that cave himself, and what they said was that they actually found his phone down that mountain, the mine shaft. But then you question, like, why, like, how would his phone, because it looks quite a fair drop. So it's quite a weird
How
one.
far is it? Like really deep?
It is really deep, high. And their ladders didn't look the most steadiest.
It's an old mine shaft, Eric said.
Yeah, it's an old mine shaft.
Thing was though, but that particular video has been analysed, and someone says the person that analysed the video, they've looked at it and they've said that there is also somebody else there with him.
Ah.
Because there is a point in that video where you hear what sounds like a lady laughing.
Hey Lynn, hey Chantel. I need to look at that.
There is a video claiming that on YouTube that at some point in that video you can hear a lady laughing.
Oh wow, that's creepy.
And they reckoned it was his girlfriend.
Or it was a mine banshee. Who knows?
Eric says, I found out the other day that a lot of flies all of a sudden might be a sign of Bigfoot.
Sorry, the dog is trying to sabotage the show. Oh my god.
No, you're absolutely fine. You're absolutely fine. I mean, there is. Oh, adorable. He's trying to steal the. He's trying to steal the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of these cases where you just. It's mind-boggling.
I've never heard that.
I mean, it wouldn't be surprising of strange things going on over there, because obviously All of that area there is obviously, as we know, is Area 51. The border of Area 51 expands more and more each year.
Comments, I'm sorry. Are you near a manure heap at stables?
And
Bigfoot.
then in the background you can hear the 20th Century Fox tune.
I haven't heard that in forever.
But, you know,
Oh,
I mean, with Area 51 expanding all the time, the security has got to be obviously a lot tighter. There's got to be more security personnel because of the area expanding. It's more ground to cover, and they're using all forms of technology to detect whether people are encroaching on their land. So they're using motion sensors, the seismographs, and doing all sorts. And there is a video of two guys on motorbikes. They only got 2 meters within the boundary, and a white pickup truck descended upon them pretty quickly. 2 meters inside the boundary, and that was it. And they were on motorbikes. So they could have only been in that area within 2 seconds, and the guys were there.
another year and a few feet.
I want to go out there.
It won't become Area 52, Chantel, because there already is an Area 52.
Like go out to Area 51 and just chill out on like a picnic blanket or something, and like use a telescope and maybe some binoculars and like scope the place out for like a whole night.
That would be amazing.
I think
That
I
would be-
think that's the reason why they're expanding the borders of Area 51, because with the technology the way it is now, with telescopic lenses on cameras and things like that, the further away you are, the harder it's going to be for you to be able to take pictures closer up of the base and what they're up to. And
Either that or they're expanding it, because what do they keep there at Area 52?
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason why the buses and the aircraft, the passenger aircraft that come in, got blacked out windows, so you can't take photos of the people on board. The only thing you can do is when they get off the plane and they go in the buildings or onto the bus to go to different sections. That's the only time where you're able to actually get a photo of who it is that's on that plane.
Yeah.
As soon as they're on that bus, you're not going to see who they are because the windows are all blacked out. And that goes off to a different area, whereas everybody else gets marshaled into the main complex.
I wonder what's their drone protocol. Like if people are using drones, you know, people.
I would assume
Skype.
It would get nuked. It would get nuked.
I would assume that the drone would be shot down. Because technically it's going over restricted airspace, isn't it?
Yeah, and I know that you have to register your drones to be able to have permission to take them in certain zones.
Yeah, I know. I know in the UK, anything under 250 kilograms, you don't need to have a license for.
Okay.
Yep. So anything over 250 grams, you have to have a license for, which means obviously you've got to have the right training and everything else. But anything under, you're free to fly over commercial zones and things like that.
Oh, Ducky. Oh, you should have been close air. You should have been driving all your ass to Scotland and then saying, "Yay, I'm here." Oh, Chantel, when are you back over in South Africa? Do you know? I didn't know much about drones until I started watching Auditors. And it's amazing what I learned about drones now. So, yeah,
I learned a lot about drones. Don't fly one. I brought one drone, and I started flying it in my mum and dad's living room. And someone opened the back door, and it decided to go out the back door, and then it started going up, and it just kept going up and up and up and up, and then the wind caught it, and it was gone. And I lost it. Never come back. I went, well, that was a waste of 50 quid, wasn't it?
I must admit, if I had to get a drone, I would be pretty much would fly it backwards. You would see this thing that would keep going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards.
I would be flying. Nobody would see me forever because I would be like flying that thing. Like
Oh,
crazy, spying on everybody. Hide your kids, hide your wife. I would be spying on everybody.
I mean, that was one of the things that Kenny Veach could have done. That would have made finding the cave a lot easier by using a drone.
and I mean, probably could have saved. I mean, one of his theories is that he's got far too close, and either A, he's been taken out, or he's became really sick due, which I thought was actually interesting. I never had heard of this until I watched a certain program on YouTube. And this is what I was saying to Mark and Wayne about, is the whole how infrasound around Area 51, or you've got the radiation, and what actual effects it can have on the body. Like the infrasound has been that loud, like I can't imagine that would really burst my ears. It would burst MD's ears. Fuck's sake, Lois, get it together, women.
Have a swig of Iron Brew.
What is it called?
What, love?
Iron Brew.
Iron Brew.
Iron Brew.
Yeah.
Eric says they can have drones now that have LIDAR and can follow
I think you told me that once.
My drone used to have a return feature on it, so you just press the button and it'd go back to where it started. Only my drone had communication issues. It didn't want to listen to my demands to come back, and it just carried on going.
Oh, it kept going. I was gonna say, where did it go? To the wrong place.
It's like one of those ones. It just
It landed
It's the
on the
same-
neighbor's sandwich outside, and they couldn't eat it.
it's the same as I find, see, with voice recognition. See, when I speak Scottish to it, doesn't understand a fucking word I say. Seriously, do you
No,
know
that
the amount of
Easy
TikTok.
today.
It reminds me of the TikTok when someone's trying to, I think it's something to do with paying their electricity bill, and they get through to the automated service, and that says, ask the person what do they want to do. And because they've got a strong Scottish accent, the computer at the other end couldn't understand what he was saying. And it was saying something about, did you want to disconnect your electricity? And he was like, no, pay the bill. And every time, and it said something about, when would you be able to pay the remaining balance? And he tried to say Tuesday, and every time he said Tuesday, the computer said, did you say Thursday? And he was going, no, I said Tuesday.
Rate is live. Make sure you're streaming with Mountain Dew to participate.
Oh,
Yes.
alright.
On the Twitch homepage. Hey, what's up?
Hey, dude. But no, it is. It's murder. We'll put it this way. I was on the phone yesterday, and Steve tried to get my postcode, and I was getting my postcode. Was it fuck? It was getting me somewhere else, and I'm like, is this the right? It was like, is this the right postcode? Answering yes or no, and I was like, no. Put in your postcode again, blah blah blah, and I went da. Nope, did it register? Did it hell again? So I was away at the other side of the country. So I was at both sides of the country, and I was like, oh man, I give up. I've just got no patience whatsoever for these voice recognition things.
Yeah.
Yeah. They always say the wrong words. They just always do. I don't even remember like one time something said something completely vulgar and absurd, and I was driving, so I just sent it. And then I went back and looked, and I was like, oh my God, they read that. No wonder they didn't answer back. I did not mean to say that. Terrible. What?
Even see when it comes to my phone, and obviously everybody knows I'm dyslexic, and you can obviously like voice thing. I won't, because I've tried it. I tried it when I did college, and I was using it for my essays, and it didn't have a fucking clue what I was talking about. So it just started rattling off its own
No, the Scottish
story.
accent, the Glasgowan accent, that's the problem. That's what Eric said.
See what I find ironic? People can understand Scott perfectly, yet my accent, and I'm thinking, he has a fucking stronger accent out the two. It's like, his is a lot broader than mine. Oh, it's mental. It's
So
mental.
you see, like, similar
Oh.
to where I live. Where'd you go? Party foul. Scotty, beam me up. Houston, we have a problem.
Houston, we have. It's either that or Area 51 Scott Wayne.
The aliens. It was the Mountain Dew. No. So, like, where I live, the accent that I have is very deep Southern accent. It's called like redneck. Honestly, like people that live here and have farms, their necks are red from the sun beaming down on it. So it's called a redneck accent or hillbilly. So like a lot of people can't understand what I say either. And I have a friend that's 10 times way thicker of an accent than me. She doesn't live that far from me. She lives very close to me.
Go on, now you see what it is. Now go
It's
away.
so bad. Like, no, a lot of people don't know what she's saying. They can't tell.
See, I wondered why they used to say redneck for Americans, but
Farmer. Yeah.
I get it now. I get
Farmer.
it.
Yeah. My dad was
But
raised.
anywho, this ultrasound and infrasound stuff.
Yes.
We've been the governments of the world have been experimenting with something called brown noise, which is an ultra low frequency, and when that is played, they are looking at trying to use it more often for crowd control.
Yep.
And basically, when they use the brown noise, it's so low that we physically can't hear it, but our bodies react to it. And it's supposed to do something to our insides that make us poop ourselves.
The ultra or the infrared?
This is an ultra low frequency. So they've called it, they've nicknamed it brown noise because it literally makes you poop yourself.
Do you know, I find all this fascinating, that how such a sound, no matter if it's loud, I hope your celebrity get me out of here's rubbish.
That was Ethan going to bed.
I was talking, I thought it was Ellen, I was going to slag her.
No.
Night, Nathan. So how such a frequency, no matter if it's really low or really high, has such an effect on your physical being. And I think that's what they were thinking maybe happened to Kenny Reach, but it's not been a low frequency, it's been quite a high frequency. And they say, quote me if I'm wrong, Wayne, but is it high frequency that sends your mental health into drive?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the higher the frequency, once you go out of the human range of hearing, which I think is something like 20,000 hertz, something stupid, it can go quite high, but it also can go quite low to about 20. In that range, it will have.
Now that you said that, you're right.
A various range of effects. But obviously then you can go too high where it's things like cats and dogs can only hear it and we can't, hence the dog whistle. You know, it's too high for us to physically hear, but some people do react to it. I react to a dog whistle.
I react to dog whistles.
Dog whistles get on my nerves when I used to go down the field with my dog and people would go down with theirs and they'd be using dog whistles. It'd do my head in because all I could hear was this high pitched whistle and it'd go right through you. So you can imagine using this ultra high sound to ward you away from an area. you're not really going to want to stay around, are you? Even if you
No.
were to go for the brown noise, the really low tone, you know, you'd be wanting to head for a bathroom. You wouldn't want to be exploring a cave. You would want to be finding somewhere to go to the toilet, because otherwise you'd be end up pooping your own pants and then still wandering around the cave.
No, no, thank you.
Exactly. So, in a sense, using that as you know, using the ultra low frequencies and the ultra high frequencies is a good way of deterring someone away from being in that area. But they've been trying to use sound as a weapon for a long time.
Well, look at the
like
look
Death
at
by
the-
Song.
yeah. Well, that's true when you think about it. I mean,
Like
look
the
at the
David Koresh.
YouTuber. Oh,
David
look at
Koresh,
the
they tried to
YouTuber.
use the song
Sorry,
to get
Roseanne, you go, honey.
Huh?
But look at the YouTuber who has been trying to look for Kenny Veach having that experience where he felt so sick because he was near a. Oh, there's that wanker. I mean, that Parker. Love you, really, dude. Evening. And he felt he had the experience of being really, really sick. But then the further that he was moving away from where he was, the better he felt. And that's what my next point was going to be, the radiation aspect to it. It's a good sort of technique again if it's wanting to warn away people. But then people are going to become wise and then they're going to look at research on how do you protect yourself from such things happening. And I think one of the... Alright, on you go, Dal.
I think it's more along the lines of you can't, because you don't know it's going to happen. You know, if the powers that be are using that as a deterrent from being in that area, you're not necessarily going to know they're going to use it. So if you go walking into an area for the first time that is restricted, and we know that area was restricted because inside that cave that he found, there was a sign saying Area 51, keep out excessive force necessary, so on and so forth. So he knew he shouldn't have been there. Now, if he started getting that feeling, or that the other guy that went looking for him started getting those weird sensations and starting to feel really strange by being in that area, you're not necessarily going to know the first time round. If you go back, you might be able to prepare yourself for it, i.e. the tin hats. Because that was one thing that wouldn't be able to get through, was by foil, aluminium foil or aluminum foil, depending on where you are in the world.
You know, funny enough, I think it was that documentary that Mark sent me to watch, and they were talking about tin foil, and I just think it's crazy the amount of things that's so, the way to describe it, that it's things you never look at and think that actually serves a purpose to save or prevent.
Yeah,
it's ironic.
Well, like I said, you look at the borders, and really, apart from right near the main gates, there is no physical method of stopping you. You know, you go to them on the roads themselves. You can go to the gates and approach the gates, and then they will turn around and say, you ain't supposed to be here, off you go, see you later. But if you go away from the beaten track and try and just go across the border, the invisible border, you might see the odd signs warning you that you're entering a restricted area. But the first thing you will know, apart from those signs that you're in an area you shouldn't be, is when they start chasing you.
Oh, God. Claire says the high frequency active aura research program in Alaska is supposed to have caused many strange occurrences, including memory loss. Chantel says, and then there's a rabbit hole that every colour's a frequency in direct aura direct energy weapons. Hey Rita, here's the thing though, right? Let's all be honest, and everybody in the chat, let's be honest, right? If somebody tells you don't do that or don't go there, what's the first thing we all do? There's no one person that can't say they haven't disobedient something in their life.
As a child, if somebody had said to me, don't do it, I'd have done it anyway.
Exactly.
But as an adult, watching so many films where people say, don't do that, and they go and do it and they end up getting themselves killed. Someone said that to me, I'd be going, that's fine, see you later.
Kelly says, I've been outside the Area 51 a few years ago and there was lots of security watching me.
Yeah.
I'm
But
not too bad.
They do. And
Chantel, I'm right with you. She says, I'm marching my rebellious ass right through them gates.
A lady did do that once and she almost got herself shot. And there was there was about 7 or 8 people standing there watching her do it. She literally walked through the gate and they're all standing the other side going, what's she doing? She's mad. Get her to come back. Get her to come back. And she wouldn't listen. She carried on walking. Next minute, the white truck turned up. And this was through one of the main gates. So even though this main gate was unmanned, they were still watching it. And they watched her just walk in. But the problem is they have everything there. And even, I mean, when I went to RAF Woodbridge and RAF Bentwaters, Rendlesham Forest, when we were standing at the east gate of one of the bases for filming, we'd been there. We couldn't see anybody, but they had been watching us on camera. Because no sooner had we left there and started walking down towards where the alleged landing site was, this white pickup, very similar to the ones that go around Area 51, pulled up at the bottom of the runway of the base and watched what we were doing. And then as we were about to leave from the bottom of the runway and go down the footpath into Rendlesham Forest itself, that truck had gone back to the east gate, come through the gate and down to the start of the footpath where we were, and they watched us going down the footpath. They were watching us all night.
Kelly says, I saw a truck and kept it sat there, watched me, and then I went round, but they also had the gun on them as well. If you go over the signs, they will outdoor truck and hold you at gunpoint. That doesn't surprise me. I've got to be really brutally honest. Like Chantel, who's a woman after my own heart and very elegant, right? She'll give me, here's your pipe.
That's a pot it's hot.
Aye, exactly. As she says, me reaching for the bottom, please don't touch it. Yep.
We've
all done it.
Yep.
We've all done it. And there's just that bit of rebellience in me that kind of thinks, I would be that person that would want to go and obviously look at Area 51. I'm that type of person. If they came in their white truck, I'd be like, you go, I'd back in your white truck and mind your own business. I'm a woman on a mission. And then you'd see me getting carted away.
But knowing what you know about the area, about what happens to people that go over that invisible border, you would still disobey the rules and the knowledge of what happens to people and still go over that line.
Right, 2 minutes, I'll answer your question. Ellen, get your ass back here. Turn off that TV. Get watching.
Hi, Kitty. Hi, little girl. Hi, Kitty. I was like, there's a person.
Love you.
She's an old girl. She's about.
She's got bad breath.
She's got to be about 14, 15.
Oh, boy.
Can you eat a polo?
Leave her alone.
Well, she's so relaxed, huh? Because she's old and wise, so she's just chill.
Yeah. She was a local stray at our previous house.
Oh, bless her. Right, who's losing in the jungle? On you be the nation's favourite for ruining the clips. So anybody that hasn't watched it tonight, listen to Ellen.
They haven't voted anybody out yet. The voting line is just opened.
I don't know why you watch that push when you've got the real deal here. It's like a celebrity in here, get me out of here.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, our Bush Tucker trial was better than theirs.
Please don't remind me that. No, don't remind
A
me.
couple of years ago, we did a Bush Tucker trial for Argyle Ghost Guides, and
Oh, God.
it was live on Facebook, and they sent all the stuff down to us, and they made all these weird things, and it was like crickets in a chocolate and stuff like that. Vile, but fun.
Right. To answer Wayne's question, right? So Wayne asked me there, regardless of what I know, would I still go ahead and do it? Here's the thing, right? I have the most rebellious ass, right? I am your type of person, if you don't like me, I smile at you. I smile at you because I'm not
I
pissing
need
you
to
right
be like
off.
that. You really, I do.
So I'll smile at you, right? I would even quite happily sit down at your table just so that I could be in front of you, right? So to answer your question, I would still be rebellious.
So,
Chantel says Lois is my people.
so part two to that question: are you one of those people that will watch a horror film, ghost film, whatever, where somebody hears something in the basement and they're all on their own and they go, "Oh, what was that? Let's go down and investigate." So they go downstairs into the basement where this strange noise has just been heard. Are you that person that sits there
Wait,
in
I'm
front of the
getting in the
TV
mood.
and go,
Let me turn this off.
"Don't go down
Yeah.
there because something's going to murder you"?
Excuse me, I'd be jumping right over the top of them going, "Come on, bitch, let's go down here to be find out."
So
I am one of these people that I watch films, right? We'll take Hell House, prime example, right? Hell House is a film. It's again another found footage. So they're exploring what used to be this hotel, right? I'm using this film prime example because they have got a basement in the film. So I'm going to use that as prime example as the basement. So I would love to explore that. And I would still go down that basement. Even though there's 3 clowns looking at me, I would still be down there wanting to investigate. See if somebody told me, right?
So
I
y'all are in
think
the
it's
basement, and you're like, about to crap your pants, and I'm doing this right here with my flashlight.
I'd tell you to go and shite in your bed Sunday.
Everybody with the colors and lights, and they're like, I hate you right now. Stop.
the thing is, we all stand there and say,
Scared. Huh?
we all sit there and watch these scary films and we go, "Don't go down there because you know what's going to happen. They're going to get killed. They're going to get mutilated, arms ripped off, so on and so forth."
High heels. I'm going back to like a scary movie thing, but if they're not wearing high heels and they haven't been engaging in adult activities, okay, what's the scary movie rules? And they don't say, "I'll be right back," they're probably going to be fine.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying is most people, when they go down in these basements on their own after hearing a weird noise, they end up getting mutilated and killed and so on and so forth. The viewer sits there going, "Don't go down there. You know what's going to happen."
I might think it would be more likely a squatter than like a ghost, like some real human. They're more dangerous. Humans are much worse.
You didn't ask me one question.
No, I asked
you said
two.
Well, okay then, funny cunt. Like, the question what you should have asked me really was, Lois, what would you do if you seen an alien? Then I'd be like, I'd shit my pants. I'd probably faint in front of her.
Oh, you see, so that's where I would be the opposite to you then with that one. Because I wouldn't. I'd be like,
don't know.
What are you drinking? Welcome. What do you want to drink? Cup of tea, coffee, anything stronger?
And in exchange, I'll let you probe me.
No, in exchange, you can get rid of these people that are supposedly to be running our countries.
I'd send them to Bristol, quite honestly, but hey ho. But
Anyway, anywho.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, the use of things like that to ward people away from their areas is quite well known. But he went in that cave and found that sign. That sign would be enough warning. And he was even warned in his comment section from his previous video not to go back, because if you did, you will not come out alive. That he would
and
not
I'm
come.
assuming maybe he was into here.
So what was he going into?
Oh,
What was the place?
what have you got against Bristol? I carry comments and tell.
Sorry, Rosie, what was that?
Well, where's the place that you're talking about going into?
No, the
M
place
cave.
he was going to go back was that M-shaped cave that he found by Area 51. He went there the first time round, but then people said to him to go back and investigate the cave. So he said, I'll go back if I can find it. But in the comments, somebody had said, do not go back to that cave because you will not come back out.
Mm-hmm.
So someone was clearly warning him not to go back.
So did he not come out?
Well, he's gone missing. Nobody knows where he is.
Oh.
And the weird part was, and me and Lois were speaking about this earlier on, what I find extremely weird or strange is that he disappeared in 2014. Yep. In 2018, someone broke into his sister's Reiki shop in Las Vegas. It was just one person, and all they stole was an iPad, which they took on the way out of the building. Nothing else. They didn't try taking any money or any of the stock. It was just an iPad that his sister had sitting on the counter of the store. The sister and his mother both claim it was him on the security camera. They swear blind that was him 4 years later. Yet the powers that be, the authorities run the face through facial recognition software, and they told the mother and the sister that is not Kenny Veach. That's somebody completely different. And I said to Lois, I said, how strange is it that the authorities have said that's not him because our software says it's not? And yet the area he went into is also run by the same authorities. Cover up?
No.
Have they, his mum and sister have got hope that their brother, the sister's brother, has finally come back from wherever he's been, knowing that he was a bit of an extrovert and would disappear for days on end and so on and so forth, that he's finally come back and he's now enabled himself to be seen. But the powers that be that warned him not to go back to that cave and may have been holding him at will for 4 years have finally managed, he's finally escaped them, and they're trying to blindside the mother and the daughter into believing it's someone completely different so they can try and catch hold of him. It seems very strange that he's gone to a restricted area, and the same people that have been telling him not to go back have all of a sudden turned around and said, oh no, that's not him. The mother knows her own son regardless.
I agree.
So something's not quite right there, and for his mobile phone to be down the mine shaft, you could clearly see there was ladders there. If you'd have dropped your phone down that mine shaft, you got a couple of $100 worth of phone in your hand, and that's just gone down that mine shaft, and you can see there's ladders there. You would at least attempt to try and get it back.
And it's
He
not
wouldn't have
just
left it.
that, the phone was actually found intact. Now, say Kenny Veach had dropped his phone down that. Now, that's like from my upstairs neighbour to down, like downwards, right? So
About
if I
40
dropped
foot.
so if I dropped my phone down 40 foot, that's not going to survive.
No.
That's going to be smashed to hell.
And you could clearly
Yep.
see there was rocks at the bottom of that shaft.
Yep.
So that would have shattered.
And say that he had the most shittiest phone, which bearing in mind, I don't see Kenny Reach having an iPhone or anything like that, but say it was the most shittiest one, even at that still wouldn't survive that drop in no way such a velocity. As you say, there's rocks up.
Yeah.
My class said CIA or the MIB. It could be any of them, Cliff. But there's a lot of things, and it's not just Kenny Veach's case that intrigued me, right? When I looked at the Nevada desert, there's so many millions of people that go missing in that area of the desert. Now, I'm just going to use this as a prime example. I'm not saying that my killer or anything, right? But I get bored of Wayne's shite. Wayne won't leave my show, and I decide to bump him off, right? Now, toxic, we're in America, right? There, he's dead already. I hope you don't die tomorrow because I'll feel awful bad for using you as an example. So, we're in America. All I need to do is take Wayne into the Nevada desert. Nobody's going to find a body within. I mean, let's look at the statistics in Nevada desert. There's so many people that went missing that's never came back. Have they
Yep.
been found years down the line? No, of course they haven't.
And the thing is, as well, is that obviously we go back to the prospecting days. You know, you go right the way back to when the gold hunt was on, and they're off looking for the gold. There's all these mine shafts all over the place, all over the country in various areas. You know, where the prospectors would dig test holes to see whether there's gold there or any precious metals and things that they could use. And that's what Kenny Veach had found, was one of these old prospector shafts. So could they, you know, could it be linked to a cave system that runs underneath that area? And if so, is that the reason why that the expansion of Area 51 is increasing every year? Because they're finding more and more about the land. And now we've got ground penetrating radar. You know, they're able to pick up these voids in the ground quite easy. And ground penetrating radar is very easy to obtain. And all you would need to do is go over that area with this ground penetrating radar, and you'll be able to find their tunnels that may be linked to the actual base itself, any laboratories that may be underground, because it is fact that there are a lot of tunnel entrances dotted around that area that lead into the base. So they're going to want to try and hide them as much as possible. And they reckon that on that, the Sean guy that went back and retraced Kenny Veach's steps, found the M-shaped cave, but it was all filled in.
So was it not
Plus,
before?
we need to set up a code word for Wayne.
Sorry, Rosie.
Was it not filled in before when the Kenny guy went there to investigate or whatever?
No.
Wasn't it?
When Kenny went there, you could clearly see the cave entrance, and the angle that he was at, you could clearly see that it made the shape of a capital M. And he actually went into the entrance of the cave, and he was rummaging around in the soil, and he came across an Area 51 sign. And it was at that point he turned around and he said, "I think I better be going now," and he backed off and out the cave. When this other guy decided to retrace his steps, see, there we go, the M-shaped cave. Now, when the guy went back and retraced Kenny Veach's steps, he actually went past that cave at first without realizing it was there. And it wasn't until later on that he realized that the cave entrance is still there, but it's all blocked up. Why would it be blocked up?
Unless
It
they
wasn't.
grab somebody in it.
The entrance itself is the actual, the M-shaped entrance is not in an area of cliff face where if there was a rock fall, it would literally drop in front of the entrance and then push itself in and seal up the entrance. You'd have had a big pile of rocks in front of it.
Maybe
This
a
looked
really
like it had been
strong
put.
force. Maybe a
Sorry?
strong force. Maybe something with a very strong force didn't want anyone in there.
Well,
Here's a video of the guy that went hunting for it.
So tiny, closer.
turn it landscape, Lois.
Like side,
Okay.
like horizontal
Yeah, just turn
instead of a vertical.
375 east.
Because it's really strange. The guy didn't even realise he was standing right in front of it.
So we're gonna head down the extraterrestrial.
Wait a
Because
minute,
it was
to bring up the team.
It's already kind of hard to see in the first place, but if it's filled in, you'd easily could miss it, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you could the actual rocks that were placed inside the entrance were actually pushed right in. But
Yeah.
the way the rock formation is for that area, there wouldn't be enough rocks that could fall in front of that cave and then just mysteriously go inwards. So it's as if the rocks were placed there on purpose.
Yeah.
Which would mean they were trying to hide the entrance. But even on the video that you see that this guy makes, the bushes are in the same bushes are there, and they're in the same place as where the V-shaped part of the M comes down, and then there's this row of bushes, and you're like, okay, this isn't right. I found the M cave of Kenny Veach.
Okay, I turned on to Nevada State Highway 375 East, also known as the Extraterrestrial Highway. So we're going to head down the Extraterrestrial Highway that way, which is east, and pretty desolate out here in Nevada. And we're getting close to the Dulles Air Force Base. There's some cows over there.
Cows are all heading north for some reason.
They're moving super. No, they're moving kind of fast.
I believe that up there is the M cave. That entrance, it's like a letter M.
There, yeah. See, it's funny because from far back it looks like there's a Bigfoot there instead of an M. Like from far back, it almost looks like someone caught a crouching down like Bigfoot.
Okay, I made it up here to the entrance of this cave. There's the one side of it. It comes down, it goes back up there and down. Now, it doesn't look to be very deep at all. It looks like they were trying to wall it off. There's that rock right there, as well as behind here. Like right there. The guy kind of alerted me to this location. His name's Don. He's in the military. And he was searching for this himself. And the last couple of years, he had an accident and no longer able to get out like he used to. So he came across my YouTube channel and wanted to check it out.
This looks suspicious. Ugh.
That's what I really can't say where I am exactly.
See, regardless, there was obviously humans there because there's pieces of wood there, shaped wood.
Or undisclosed. So there's some wooden remnants here. And there's a bottle. And let's see. I don't see a door. Like I said,
Common theory suggests that the M cave contains a hidden door or trap door that leads somewhere else.
Cave. Back in here.
Kenny Beach said that when he approached the M cave, his body began to vibrate and he felt full of fear and dread. I did not experience anything like that. But this was the second guy.
Some white scratch marks. A little closer.
I'm not sure if these are deliberate scratch marks or naturally occurring small veins in the cave.
So, not sure what that says.
Naturally occurring veins in the cave that spell the word hatch.
I'm not sure this.
Nature doesn't do straight lines.
Looks like an H. H.
Looks like it's a hand carved.
Yeah, someone scratched it into the wall.
Door.
Yeah,
I don't know
for sure.
doors, what they call doors. But I don't see a hatch. So I remember all these twins. But we're looking out. So our senior is down. See, up, and comes down here, centerpiece, then goes back up, and comes down over there. And it looks like they're trying to wall it off maybe. I don't see a door. Just wood. Just wood. And, got some notch. Here's a dowel rod. It's got both ends like that. This bottle is can't see the label on that.
Okay, so that's definite proof of the fact that there's been people there. Oh, look.
Okay,
Warning, Area 51.
That'd be authorized. Well, so it's time to get out of here.
I like that. The second he picks up the sign, he says, "Oh well, time to get out of here."
He's like, "Fuck this! I'm running." Do you know what, guys? I've enjoyed really covering this case definitely tonight. But this is one of those cases that have left more questions unanswered than answered. Will they ever find Kenny Beach? No. I'll be very surprised. No. I don't think they will. Personally, I don't think they will.
I mean, the thing is, there are too many possibilities of his demise. You know, we know there's loads of caves there. We know there's loads of mine shafts there. We don't know the extent of the mine shafts. The mine shafts could go on for miles. He could have gone down a mine shaft thinking he was, oh, look, this is an entrance to Area 51.
You know what?
Like a back door, secret passageway.
Yeah, he could have thought it was a secret door going into Area 51, and he thought I might explore it. He could have been caught, and then he's been imprisoned. No one will know. No one will ever know.
Do you know if there's any? Do you know if anyone else has gone in there before him and came out and said anything about it? Like they made it back out?
There's
No.
always been rumours of cave entrances in various areas around there. But no one's ever gone in and come back out and said, "Oh, you've got to go to this cave here because it's really cool." He stumbled across that cave entrance, and he did the bit of exploring and said, obviously he felt strange and he had to leave. But then everybody goaded him into going back, and so he did go back for further investigation. And I think that's when he's either fallen into a mine shaft or he's gone into the cave and he's got lost inside. And it's possible he could have fallen down another mine shaft within the cave system and could have broken a leg or something. He could have bled to death through breaking a leg or worse damage to himself. Or there could have been a cave in and he could have suffocated. And without sending people into the cave networks and the tunnels and everything else to see whether his body's still down there, they're never going to know. And that could take ages because it's locating the right cave and the right system of tunnels.
But here's the thing, right? Doesn't matter the world, right? Say Kenny Veach went and found the M cave, right? I'm using this as an example, right? Kenny Veach went and found the M cave, right? He could come back with the best sort of evidence, and people would have still never believed in him. It's like the paranormal. You could have the best bit of evidence, but it'll still not be good enough.
No. There is also a possibility that he could have done what he did on purpose. He wanted to live his life the way he wanted to live it. He didn't want to be dictated to. He didn't want to live his life via the same way everybody else does. He wanted to do his own thing in his own time. Could he have possibly dumped his phone down that mine shaft to make it look as if he'd had an accident and then just completely disappeared? We all know from watching, or most people that know about Kenny Veach know that he used to go hiking for days on end.
Yeah.
So he could have just said, yeah,
Cliff,
I mean,
I'll take
go
you the
hiking with
video.
a bar of chocolate and half a bottle of water for 4 days in the desert. That's not really a good idea, but it was something he used to do. Now, could he have planned his disappearance? He wanted to go off radar. What a way to do it. Make everybody think that you've gone into a cave system in Area 51, disappear. Everybody would stop bothering to look for you and you could live your life the way you want.
But here's the thing. If Kenny Veach wanted to tell the world, right, say that he did make it out and he'd tell the world, this has happened, this is what I've seen, blah, blah, blah. Nobody wouldn't believe him would either, because the government, I shouldn't have said use that G word. The government have a great way of discrediting you to make themselves look good.
And this is why I say, could there be a way that he's done this so that he can get out of the rat race? We had a case back here of a guy who got in a canoe and ended up in South America. Now his wife claimed on the insurance saying that he went out on his kayak and died. He drowned. So they paid out, and it turned out he was in South America.
Alive.
And
his wife used to go down to South America to see him.
No, I think for years it started off. In fact, I've got to cover this story since Wayne's brought it up, talking about somebody who's faked their death and did it well. But this man actually lived next door to his wife. They had that would have been a different one. And do you no? It's the same one. Because him and her ended up going to jail, and I don't think the families ever forgave the mother and father for that stunt because that put them through hell. Because they two are divorced now because he's got a younger wife for the Philippines. Look at Mr. Kumanu, man.
They voted Danielle out of the jungle.
Oh no!
boy.
The world's come to an end. The wrong person's been voted out the jungle.
Ellen,
Who cares?
Ellen. I can't believe she watched you. You're very welcome, honey. I can't believe that Ellen was a high up here with me until I discovered she watches that fucking jungle shite and knew she's away down here. That's not true because I still love you, Ellen. I just listen. We all have faults and guilty pleasures that we watch. It's just a pity hers is shite. She's got to kick me right in the shins when she
But
sees
yeah,
me.
I mean, there's been a couple of cases where people have allegedly taken their lives to claim so that their partners could claim the insurance. But the one I remember was the guy that that said he drowned and he ended up in South America, and the wife was flying down to South America to visit him. She was staying down there with him, and the insurance company had investigated it and found out. They'd sent an investigator to South America. They followed the wife. They wondered why she was taking so many regular trips there. And the investigator found the pair of them. And the British government, the British Boberman, had set up a procedure to have him exported back to the UK.
It's absolutely crazy. It's a world we live in.
But people will do it if they think they can get £500,000 out of an insurance claim, because it was quite a high payout. And it basically set the pair of them up for life. However, it meant he had to go by a different name.
It's mental. It really is
and
mental.
He got rumbled. And, so could Kenny Veach done something similar just so he could get out of the way and just live the way he wanted to live?
You just never know. That's the problem. You never know.
Like we said, he had depression. He had crippling debts. It looked like his house was going to undergo foreclosure. And so he needed to either find a way out of the debt that he'd got or start again somewhere else. And if he's not prepared to take his own life or something like that to get away from that debt, the choice is to start again somewhere else. So you'd need to go off radar to be able to start again.
Is that true? That's true. Tomorrow night, guys.
And it's a good way of doing it.
It is a good way. It really is a good way. If you didn't want to speak to him again, fuck it. What would you have to lose?
Well, you'd set yourself up first. You set up your YouTube channels and TikToks and stuff and get as much income coming in beforehand. Then you could withdraw all those funds. You'd have all that money cash, just sitting there ready and waiting, put it somewhere, and then set the situation up. You can just play it out as you want it to, because he's going off on his own. He's looking for he finds this cave. Right, we'll set all this up on purpose. Could have even been someone he didn't know. He could have said, look, if I give you $100, can you write a comment in my comments section on this video, YouTube? If you go back to that cave, you ain't coming back out again. And that bloke's gone, yeah, I'll do that. $100. Yeah, brilliant. That's easy $100 for me. Don't go back into that cave because you won't come back out again. You set it up.
Because funny you should say that, because one of the comments they couldn't trace. One of the comments was from an unknown source. That and it was a weird one. It really was a weird one. Tomorrow night we are having, oh, this is going to be hilarious when I tell you. We are having a paranormal conduct, code of conduct subject. The do's and the don'ts. What would there be? No, sorry, what would be in the paranormal conduct of the code of conduct if you had to make one? This will be fucking hilarious. I'll be on the list of don'ts. On Monday, you have those two gruesomes from the Dark Mirror show talking about aliens, as always. Are you talking about aliens on Monday, or am I just bullshitting?
No, we probably will be talking about aliens again.
And
no, I think.
By the way,
I think we touched on it. I think we touched on a good subject the other day. So,
sorry, I'm getting DoorDash notifications. I got a DoorDash. You know what that is?
Oh, you're fine.
DoorDash is? It's like where you pick up food from restaurants and you deliver it to people's houses, and you get paid by the mileage, and you get paid by the delivery, and you get tips.
Ah, right.
Delivery driver. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go because I changed.
No, that's fine, love. Thanks for appearing in. I hope you have a good night, love.
But that was cool. That was interesting. I wouldn't mind reading more about it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Coolios, my love. Well, I'll see you next week. Hey, bye. Bye. Do you know the best it is? I don't even think we have a subject for next week. We don't.
We can find one.
We'll find one. No touch someone's wiener will lie. That's true, Eric. So
no,
on Monday,
we're not talking about wieners next week.
So on Monday, what are you two gruesome twosome talking about?
I think we're going to be continuing the sort of conversation that we had on Monday gone.
On Tuesday, on what's the subject?
Which is the usual weirdness. That's what I was going to say.
Two creepies. Right, Eric, what's the subject for Tuesday? While we're waiting for Tuesday's subject. On Thursday, we've still not thought of a subject.
We will have to keep you updated.
But to be fair, I was picking subjects for next year. So I've already got January to April thrown in. So since I'm a good show host, I'll give you a sort of feeling what we're bringing next year. Next year we're bringing Fred and Rose West, the assassination of JFK, the O.J. Simpson trial, Lizzie Borden, and a load of others. You're only getting a wee sneak view. I can feel your wheels turning. What are you thinking? Smack me with it.
Well, for some unknown reason, when you were talking about haven't got anything for next week, all of a sudden Nikola Tesla came into my head.
I don't see why we can't do Nikola Tesla. You want to do that?
Well, I mean, look at the man himself. He was a legend. And when you look at everything about him and his work and the people that were working not with him, but alongside doing the same sort of stuff, their stuff tended to be beneficial for the Bobberments, whereas Nikola Tesla's stuff was more beneficial for the people or for the planet.
Right, well, you hear
his demise compared to the others coming up in the world and everything else, I think's quite a good subject.
Right, well, you heard him. That's next week's subject. Antarctica. I'll tell you what, Wayne. Wayne. Fuck's sake, Cliff. Because I'm looking at Wayne. That's because of my eyes. Funny. Antarctica. You don't laugh. Antarctica, definitely. Yeah, we can talk about the Antarctica. What about the Antarctica, Cliff?
Weird stuff down
But
there.
there is weird stuff. Oh, my Christ, you look like Jim Royal.
Hang on, let's boost it. Hang on.
Right, so that's next week's subject. There's Wayne spoke. For fuck's sake, how many glasses does a man need? How many pairs of specs have you got? I take it one's driving, one's reading, and one's...
These ones. Old pair.
Apparently, you know a lot about the Antarctica.
I know a fair bit. They're my driving ones, and they're my reading ones.
You look very intellectual.
Nah.
Nah.
I still can't get used to them. But yes, me and Mark have talked a little bit about Antarctica and the things that are going on down there. And I have been constantly looking into stuff that has been happening down there and sort of making things more to light that not a lot of people know about Antarctica that they should really do because it's false information. So.
Hello.
Tell me that's that Get Me Out shite finished.
Pardon?
Is that Get Me Out of Here shite finished?
It is, and I'm annoyed at who got voted out.
Who got voted out, Mon? Let's all ruin it for everybody.
Danielle.
Oh, that's
Lola
horrible.
from EastEnders.
Yeah. Specky, Specky 12. I was like, yeah.
Oh my gosh,
I nearly just stood on them.
Sorry, they're the old ones.
Not the point. They cost you 50, 60 quid.
Well, I'm going to wear them again, aren't I?
Hang on.
Dennis Taylor, the snooker player. So I can do impressions as well.
Oh, you're looking gorgeous, Ellen.
That's right. Someone just hit me. That'll teach me to slag off I'm a celebrity.
But yes, Mr. Tesla, we will speak about next Thursday. I better get my research in since you picked me a difficult subject.
Not very difficult. If you were to YouTube or TikTok Tesla, you will get a lot of stuff.
Maybe by next week I'll be fucking single because somebody's trying to insult my intelligence.
Very, very smart man from his ideas.
I can understand his ideas.
I'm not that fucking smart, but I'm just a very, very smart man.
Do you hear this? Hear what I've got to supper?
That's all right, I get it from Ellen as well.
Excuse you?
I love that. You just chimed in so well. Ka-ting.
If I'm ever stuck on anything, who do I go to?
Wangle. She goes to Wangle. She don't know anything. She asks Wangle. She goes, hey, Wangle, what's this? Oh, right, okay.
Exactly.
It's weirdest of stuff, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Weird and random.
Cliff says Tesla was a genius.
He was. I personally think he had outside help with what he knew. And his demise was definitely mysterious as well. So,
But anyway, that's our subject for next week.
Yeah,
That Bubba Loves is not ruining it for me. But good night, everyone, and we will see you over the weekend. Well, you'll see me tomorrow night, but you guys take care.
see you
Bye,
on Monday.
everyone. Have a good weekend.